We're continuing a conversation with the candidates for Long Beach City Attorney. Tom, from time to time you hear proposals bandied about to merge the city prosecutor's office with the city attorney's office. You've been running the prosecutor's office for 3 terms. What do you think of that idea?
Well, I said in my first term, and each time that's come up with regard to charter reform, that I think that would be a form of bad government. I don't think that the model you have in Los Angeles is particularly good in terms of governmental form. I say that because the city attorney in Los Angeles, unlike the city attorney in Long Beach, will have under one branch the civil side and the criminal side. So when the police officers are sued, as Mr. Shannon and I have earlier discussed, that same attorney's office that will be considering the criminal case will be considering the civil case.
And that creates all
a
kinds
potential
of
problem and conflict of interest.
Bob, same question to you, because we hear about this, we maybe could save some money. Does that make any sense from your perspective?
You know, that's an open question for me. I'm not sure it would save money, because if you were to merge the 2 offices, basically assuming that you merged it into the city attorney's office, what you'd have is a chief deputy that would basically would function as Tom is functioning right now.
Sure.
It'd be the lesser part of the two halves. However, I do think it's an open question.
Okay.
I don't disagree with what Tom said, however.
Tom, getting back to the outside attorneys, anything that you would do differently than the way Bob handles the problem of retaining outside attorneys?
Yeah, well, I have 2 comments about that. One, Mr. Shannon hired his campaign manager's law firm to handle a $150,000 a year contract for appearances that when I was in the office I used to make. And I think that contract should be terminated. With regard to the donning and doffing lawsuit, I think the approach, although business as usual, of getting an outside law firm perhaps is short-sighted. It's $1.2 million now, that firm's charges to the city, without settling, without trial. Perhaps it would have been better, and certainly something I would have considered, to hire an outside law firm as a consultant if you need that speciality. But for $1 million, you can hire 2 lawyers and make them do nothing but that lawsuit at the direction of the consultant and save a lot of money.
Bob, did you want to comment?
Well, first of all, the reference to my campaign manager is incorrect. We haven't spent $150,000 a year. It's under $100,000, and it's for pitches motions. And believe me, it's a cost-effective, necessary thing. Our attorneys were sitting around court all day long, and believe me, we're saving money by going to outside counsel. Tom's comments with regard to not going to outside counsel are interesting, since he was the head litigator when we decided to go to outside counsel in the McClure case, the largest case we've ever lost, which was of course, it occurred before I was city attorney, but the case was initially handled in-house by the city attorney's office. Tom participated in the decision to send it to outside counsel, and it was very costly for the city.
Okay, time goes fast when you're having fun. We've come to the portion of the show where we ask each of our candidates to give a 1-minute closing statement, and Tom, you first.
Well, I'd like to thank the viewers and point out to them that there are differences here, complete and stark differences. My experience hasn't been entirely in the municipal law office, unlike my opponent. My experience includes positions in the military where each year, every year, I was evaluated, and each year, every year, I was considered for promotion. I started as a private, I ended as a colonel. That's a history of success. Also, I'd like to point out that as a city attorney and a private practice attorney, each time I've had an opportunity to demonstrate innovative, creative thinking, I've done so and done so successfully. You can see that on my website, which I believe is part of the bumper in this case, or in this show. So I would say that if you're looking for change, if you're unwilling to put up with business as usual, then Tom Reeves is a candidate you should vote for on April 13th. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom Reeves, candidate for city attorney, and Bob Shannon, your closing statement.
I think one approach that you might want to think about in terms of which candidate to support for election to the office of city attorney is to look at the endorsements. And I want to go down a very brief list of significant endorsements. State Senator Lowenthal endorsed me. I've worked with him. He's worked with Tom also. Supervisor Kanabe has worked with both Tom and myself. District Attorney Steve Cooley. City Auditor Laura Dowd, Mayor Bob Foster, all of these people enthusiastically support me. Now, these are people that have worked with Tom, and they work with me, and they've chosen me. I think that says an awful lot in terms of which candidate is more qualified to lead the city attorney's office in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Bob Shannon, and we'll be back with the remaining portions of Straight Talk after these messages.
Welcome to McKenna's on the Bay, where fine dining is complemented with a breathtaking view. McKenna's is a restaurant of incredible ambiance, providing service and cuisine with style, class, and romance. The menu offers a variety of appetizers, serious seafood, prime steaks, an oyster bar, and specialty entrees for either lunch or dinner. McKenna's on the Bay features patio dining, nightly entertainment, and 2 banquet facilities. No matter what your occasion, McKenna's on the Bay is like being on vacation. Join us today at McKenna's on the Bay.
The Marketplace Long Beach, where you can shop for a fabulous selection of merchandise. Dine out tonight. Shop in a relaxing environment. Explore all there is to enjoy at the Marketplace Long Beach, PCH and 2nd Street, online at marketplacelongbeach.com. The Marketplace Long Beach.
Take care of those who are closest to you, from our family to yours. McCarty's Jewelry, since 1932.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Oh, yeah. But if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan.
Welcome back. You've had a chance in the last half hour to meet the 2 candidates running for Long Beach City Attorney. It's a very important office. One of them will be our next city attorney. And I hope that you will take the time to vote in the primary election coming up on Tuesday, April 13th. It's an important office. Be sure that you register your choice for this office and the other offices and council races if you have a race in your district. You know, America in its 200 plus years has sacrificed a lot to ensure this right to vote. And it's embarrassing sometimes how the low percentage turnout of Americans exercise that right. So make your voice heard. And I'd like to thank both of our candidates for appearing on the show, for taking the time to really participate in the democratic process. The system doesn't work unless we have people of quality who step up and go through and do the things that you have to do, including raising money to get elected. We've put the bumpers up for both of the candidates. If you were moved by either one or by both, send them comments, send them a check, but be part of the process. They're doing their part by running. You can do your part by voting and by supporting one. So, Tom Reeves, thank you very much for joining us here on Straight Talk.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Bob Shannon, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you, Art.
And thank you at home for joining us. Be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by Southern California Edison, the Press Telegram, and Long Beach Magazine. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable worldwide 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.